Official: Assad says no to US OfferTEHRAN. FNA advisor to the Iranian parliament speaker Hossein Amir Abdollahian said that the Monday visit of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to Tehran was a negative response to Washington's offer to Damascus to enjoy US support for Assad's lifelong presidency in exchange for cutting ties with Iran. Amir Abdollahian said on Wednesday that the recent visit of Assad to Tehran foiled enemies' plots for parting Syria from Iran and Hezbollah. The Syrian president's visit to Tehran bore a hidden yet great message. The visit of Bashar Assad with the leader and the president of our country at this time was carried out with several goals, he added. The first goal was to express congratulations on the 40th anniversary of Islamic Revolution victory, and the second was to appreciate the support of the Islamic Republic for the Syrian people during the imposed war on terrorism. He added that the secret message of the trip was Assad's response to the Americans' new political game, in which they are trying to convey this message to Assad that they can guarantee his lifetime presidency provided that Damascus distances itself from Iran and Hezbollah. Assad responded to enemies' message with a loud voice that the Islamic Republic of Iran and Syria, beside their allies, will guard the resistance axis and regional peace and security, he noted. Syrian president paid a one-day visit to Tehran on Monday and held separate meetings with the leader of Islamic Revolution Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. Elsewhere, touching upon the issue of Foreign Minister Zarif's resignation after Assad's meetings in Tehran, Amir Abdollahian said that some media want to decrease the importance of this historic trip by making false analyses. Enemies want to imply that part of the government did not agree with this visit, he added. He added that Zarif has continuously welcomed Assad's trip to Tehran in previous meetings between the officials of the two countries. Zarif's resignation was rejected by President Rouhani and he is now back in the office. Zarif was present in a ceremony to welcome Prime Minister of Armenia Nikol Pashinyan in Tehran on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, senior Iranian legislator Mohammad Aghdekhan said that Assad's visit to Tehran indicated the stable situation in Syria and failure of the ISIL terrorist group and their supporters in the region. The visit showed internal stability in Syria, failure of the ISIL, the US and Europe in the region, and Syria's loyalty to the causes of the resistance front, Aghdekhan said. Bashar Assad's visit to Iran sent this message to the world that the Syrian people have won the proxy war launched by the US and its allies in the region, he added. Aghdekhan said that President Assad came to Iran to reiterate his loyalty to the Islamic Republic of Iran as a pivot of the resistance front and appreciate Ayatollah Khamenei for his supports. Immediately after arriving in Tehran on Monday, President Assad rushed to meet Ayatollah Khamenei. During the meeting, Ayatollah Khamenei praised the Syrian nation's resistance in face of enemies' plots, and said the key to Syria's victory as well as the United States in its regional mercenaries' defeat is the Syrian president and people's resolve in resistance. Stressing the necessity for prudence when encountering future plots, the leader said, the Islamic Republic of Iran regards helping the Syrian government and nation as assisting the resistance movement, and genuinely takes pride in it. Pointing to the Islamic Republic of Iran's honest stance and staying by the government and the people of Syria from the beginning of the crisis, Ayatollah Khamenei added, Syria, with its people's persistence and unity, managed to stand strong against a big coalition of the US, Europe and their allies in the region and victoriously come out of it. Considering the victory of the resistance in Syria as the cause for the United States of America's anger, their desperate efforts to hatch new plots, the Supreme Leader made reference to an example and said, the question of a buffer zone in Syria that the Americans are trying to create is one of their dangerous plots that must be firmly rejected and opposed. He counted the US's plan for having an influential presence Iraq-Syria border as another example of their plots, and cited, Iran and Syria are strategic allies and the identity and power of resistance depend on their continuous and strategic alliance, because of which, the enemies will not be able to put their plans into action. Ayatollah Khamenei referred to a calculation mistake that the enemies made with regard to the matter of Syria, and stated, their mistake was that they took Syria for some Arab states, whereas, even in those countries, the people's movement was in favor of the resistance and in fact, there was an uprising against the US and their mercenaries there. The leader of the Islamic Revolution also highlighted the need for strengthening and developing the religious relations and exchange of religious scholars between Iran and Syria, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the spirit of resistance and enhancing the power of Syria's nation and government. Ayatollah Khamenei addressed Syria's president by saying, with the resistance you manifested, you have become a hero in the Arab world, and the resistance has gained more power and dignity, thanks to you. Syria's president referred to some analysis that regarded Syria as done, and sighed, Iran and Syria have nations who enjoy identity and faith, and today's achievements, although gained by efforts and losses, are surely the outcomes of persistence with the movement of resistance. Bashar al-Assad reminded the huge losses that some countries underwent following their surrendering to the U.S. and stated, many countries were submissive to the U.S. and thought that the U.S. determines the world's fate and future. However, resistance by some nations disturbed this false perception. Referring to cases of efforts made by U.S. and allies in the region, trying to sow discord among ethnic and religious groups in Syria, the president of Syria went on to say, these efforts have had reverse results, and today, in Syria, the Kurds and nomads have good relations with the government, and even some groups that previously had some conflicts and differences with the government, are today cooperating with it, despite what the US and Saudi Arabia desired. Assad called strengthening the ties between Syrian and Iranian scholars as an important opportunity for countering attack-free groups, and maintained, Iran and Syria should continuously develop their economic relations, because developments of relations will act as an important factor in annulling the enemy's plots against the two nations. Also in his meeting with Assad, President Rouhani referred to Iran's seriousness for cooperation and helping the Syrian government in the process of reconstruction of Syria and consolidating security and peace in the country, adding, the Islamic Republic of Iran will stand by the Syrian government and people like before. A senior Iranian legislator said that Assad visited Tehran on Monday to ask the country for continued support for Syria and the resistance front. Bashar Assad's visit to Iran was mainly aimed at appreciating the Islamic Republic of Iran and our nation for its efforts and supports, and he demanded Iran to remain beside Syria and strengthen the resistance front as this companionship leaves important effects on the regional and international scene. Member of the Parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Commission Said Reza Naqvi Hosseini said on Tuesday. He noted that Iran's assistance led to the victories in Syria and foiled the U.S. plots. Syria had for years been entangled in terrorism and aggressions of countries like the US, Britain, France and the Zionist regime, and they clearly interfered in Syria's affairs and endangered Syria's territorial integrity and the legal government's independence, Naqvi Hosseini said.